From the Keithman Sakala Studios in Patterson, New Jersey, Green Arrow Media proudly presents Is This Real? Tonight, the Waverly Hills Sanatorium. What's going on? And now your host, JC3.
Welcome everybody to another fantastic episode of Is This Real?
Is this real?
Oh, he's so sad tonight.
Shut up.
Tonight's episode, as Dad said, we're talking about Waverly Hills Sanatorium. Sorry about that. And in the booth, as always, we have Big Joe. Big Joe, say hello to everybody on YouTube. And
Hello, everybody on
the podcast
YouTube
here.
and wherever else you are. I hope you're having a great night.
Mr. West himself. Mr. West.
Konnichiwa minasan.
There you go, Mr. West. Citos, give it to me.
I lost my chair.
Oh, okay, but you found a very new one, didn't you?
Yeah, but Josh is there now.
Okay.
But what's up, everyone?
We have Aunt Jess with us tonight. Say hello, Aunt Jess.
What's up, everyone?
We have the Pope Tony the First.
I'm the Pope.
Roblox is just here. Roblox.
Hey, we're lucky that he's awake right now.
We're so lucky. I feel blessed that Roadblock is here. Oh,
That's really ironic, especially coming from Blessed.
Yeah, I should be the one blessing him. I'm the Pope.
He's the one that said it. I don't know.
Either way,
Pope and atheist
I'm
and Joey.
just here
he's
taking up space.
Literally, that's just it.
He's just
He's
here
just
so he doesn't
here.
get fined.
Yeah, exactly.
So tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about Waverly Hills Sanatorium. Now, what do we have on Waverly Hills? I know it's a sanatorium.
Yes, I have a lot of shit about Waverly
Well,
Hills.
Anthony, you got the backstory on this.
Yeah,
I didn't
so
even know what a
let's
sanatorium
start with you.
was.
Let's go.
All right, well, let's start with where it is, right? Because that sounds like pertinent for fucking nation. Waverly Hills Sanatorium is located in Kentucky.
Ew.
Huh?
Ew.
Yeah, I agree. 4400 Paralee Drive in Louisville, Kentucky. I'm giving you the address because you can go there and do tours. They do tours, which I have more information on. That's towards the end of the episode. But don't go there and just expect to walk up to this abandoned sanatorium and be like, hey, I want to go ghost hunting or some shit, because they'll arrest you. It's now private property. It is privately owned because, it's owned by someone. So don't go there unannounced. But it's 4400 Paralee Drive in Louisville, Kentucky. Now, before this... You can. I have all that information, but hold up. So before it was a sanatorium, there's a reason why it's called Waverly Hills, right? In 1883, the land was purchased by Major Thomas H. Hayes, who put a house there, and he put a little schoolyard, whatever, little school for his kids.
Who the F is that?
He was a major in some war. I didn't do any research on him because his only part of the Waverly Hills mythos or whatever is because he bought the property that the sanatorium sits on. But it was too far. It was out in the middle of fucking Louisville before it became popular and people lived there. So he had a schoolhouse built for his two daughters to be educated. And he named it Waverly
That's a
Hills.
flex, though. I'm not gonna lie.
That is a flex.
He built an entire school in his backyard for his two kids.
Yep. And he named it Waverly Hills. He named it Waverly School and Waverly Hills because he enjoyed this novel called Waverly by Sir Walter Scott. It's something about Scottish people and a guy joins the army, something like that. I don't know. I didn't do too much research about it. But he liked the novel so much that he named the area that he purchased Waverly. Now, there is a difference of spelling. There's an extra E in the original way to spell it, and that E has been dropped since. No one really knows why. And that's it. That's what the land was, and he purchased that in 1883. Now, tuberculosis hits the United States.
TB.
Do you know what tuberculosis is? Does anyone know what tuberculosis is?
Some kind of disease.
It's like a lung disease, right?
Yeah.
It's a lung disease. It can attack other parts of the body. It's a bacteria.
Okay.
It is contagious.
It is very, very contagious.
Wait, don't you got shots for those when you were a kid?
Well,
Kinda like
yes, you get
syphilis.
TB shots now. You get vaccinated as a child. But back then,
There was no such thing as a vaccine.
no such thing as a vaccine.
That motherfuckers died, bro.
If not treated,
Objective.
yeah,
Survive.
If not treated properly, it can be
Good
fatal.
old days.
Right?
When you had to amputate an arm to.
Do you want to know the treatment for fucking tuberculosis? It's
Is
fucking ungodly.
Is it amputation?
Partially. Listen to this.
Partially. What is partial amputation?
But hold on, just listen. The most common treatments of TB was rest, fresh air, good food, and competent medical supervision. So just like relax, head out in the sun, eat a nice meal, and have a doctor watch you. That's what was prescribed, but this is what they did.
Wait. That was prescribed?
That was what, like,
You're normally supposed to do.
exactly.
Sounds like a nice day.
That
Right,
does sound
so-
like a pretty nice day.
Lobectomy, which is when they cut off a piece of your lung.
How do
I'm
you,
gonna.
how do you
By the way,
survive that?
I am in no way anything to do with the medical field. I'm gonna fuck up some of these things.
Well, I mean, I can't talk either, so.
Thoracoplasty, a surgical procedure which was designed to permanently collapse cavities by removing ribs, like parts of your rib cage to get to the lung.
Those are the people who could suck their own dick.
They can.
Honestly,
I don't think, though, that they did too much of that, but yeah, you remove a couple of your ribs and you can get down there. I mean, not me. I got a big gut, so that would stop me.
Am
still,
I
but
wrong?
Yeah, you
Keep
sus as
breathing.
fuck, though. I'll tell you that.
Pleurectomy, that is
I
a type
can't
of
do it.
surgery that that you have to remove part of the pleura.
Keep hitting my
Which
head
is-
on the coffee table.
A pleura is a membrane that lines the thorax and your lungs. They remove that. Lobectomy is when it's
So in other words, they just removing your lung.
well, part of the membrane about on your lung. Then you have the lobectomy, which is removing a lobe of an organ. This is called pneumonectomy. It's when you either partially or fully remove one of the lungs. And then you have something called pharyncotomy.
How did these people survive these operations?
That's basically when the phrenic nerve is collapsed.
What the fuck?
Well, somebody could survive in just one lung. It's not
Yeah.
a problem.
Yeah, our
But-
Uncle Sal has
Yeah,
one. now.
but no. There's an issue. This is the 1800s we're talking
Of
about.
course, that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah,
That's
back-
cold blood instead.
Yeah,
That's
like
the
the
problem.
infection
back-
would kill you for some shit
Yeah.
like that.
And like the last one was they would purposely collapse one lung and put a balloon in there to try and fill the balloon up with air so it would expand the lung so your lung could get stronger. It was fucked up. This is at a time when, like, she's hysterical. Let's give her some cocaine and an orgasm and she'll be fine. Like, that was modern medicine then. Okay?
Morphine. She needs
So
morphine.
Sounds
that's
like a
what
fun night.
that's what tuberculosis was, and this was rampant in the United States. So from 1895 to 1954,
Damn
people just
colonizers
checked
brought it.
in to sanatoriums and were like,
Am I
"Help
wrong?
me."
Am I wrong? You're looking at me like I'm wrong. Am I wrong?
The 1800s with colonizers?
They were still doing their thing.
So this is what happened when the sanatorium opened. Early 1910, July 26, two-story Waverly Hills Sanatorium officially opens. You had 40 tuberculosis patients. Okay. Over the next couple of years, it grew by hundreds of people. October of 1926, the sanatorium opened a massive 5-story building that's now still standing, and it was hosting as many as 400 tuberculosis patients. Due to this infectious nature, it operated and was self-contained. It grew its own vegetables and fruits. It raised its own livestock. It housed its own post office and water treatment facility. And by 1931, the budget of operation was $402,000 from the city and $204,000 from the county, totaling $607,000.
You know, I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, I had a brain fart for a split second, and I thought that you were just talking about tuberculosis, and I'm like, damn, this is some intelligent ass disease, bro.
Yeah, the bacteria grew
but,
its own
but then I
livestock,
caught
Eric.
myself, and then I was just like,
How
that don't
high
make
are
sense.
you?
Jesus Christ. So,
Just about the
So
right there.
basically, they have a facility just for patients that have TB.
yeah. And now listen to the facility itself. This was
Before you carry on,
Yeah,
what
go
I'm
ahead.
hearing is a perfect zombie apocalypse. So zombie apocalypse breaks out. We're going to Kentucky.
Yes, well, listen, this is 1926. This was the facilities, right? So on the main building, you had your surgery center, which took care of all the things I talked about a minute ago. You had your bakery, kitchen, and dining room. I knew you'd get excited. Listen to this.
Fat ass.
The kitchen has the capacity
Hey,
and the
he got
equipment.
excited. He got
Listen-
excited for the
Don't get me.
baby, too.
You were excited for a bakery too.
You're going to be fucking
Exactly.
blown away by this information.
I was thinking about the fresh bread too. I'm not gonna lie. I was just like, yo, bro.
Yo,
that
when them
shit
sick patients get
be-
good
that shit be
food.
hitting.
You want to hear this is what it was on a daily basis. The kitchen had the capacity and the equipment that could easily take care of 500 people with a ventilation system that could completely change the air and the air temperature every 3 minutes. So at the time, it was really
Motherfuckers
good.
had an HVAC system back then.
Exactly. The average consumption in one meal was 140 pounds of bacon. By the way, Joey, this is not like your mid-morning snack. This is like for everyone.
You're the bacon person, not me.
This is for everyone at the TB Center.
You've consumed 1 pound of bacon at one sitting, all right?
I have.
I have not.
I have. I saw Jesus that day. And he said, you need to stop.
He was like,
hey, yo, you shouldn't
gotta-
be here. You need to stop.
You gotta stop with the pork, bro.
140 pounds. This is every meal. Not every meal, but this is the typical meal. 140 pounds of bacon they cook. 100 dozen eggs. Do you understand how much 100
Oh
dozen
my
eggs
God.
is?
1,200 eggs.
That's a lot of fucking huevos. 30 pounds of cottage cheese.
Oh, my God.
30 gallons of ice cream. 9 gallons of syrup.
30 gallons?
Gallons. And 190 pounds of liver, which I'm like, why would you feed that to anyone?
They're almost dead anyway.
In a year, they would use over 1,000 barrels of milk, 13 tons of sugar, 6 tons of butter, and 52,000 pounds of ground fucking beef. That's a lot of food.
He's fattening
The
these
main
people-
dining
he's
hall
fattening
could
these people up.
the main dining hall could fit 330 employees and patients in one sitting, and up to 2,100 meals were served daily. So when you think of like everyone gets breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
2,100 times a day.
No. Like, divide that by 3. So if there's 700 people at Waverly Hills, and patients, doctors, security, all that shit, and everyone gets a breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That's 2,100 meals a fucking day.
Yeah.
That kitchen staff had to be like souped.
That was the original Hell's Kitchen. Gordon Ramsay ain't had
Yep.
nothing on that.
So they had patient access areas, which
Not sponsored, by the way.
no. In the patient areas, they had
Hey,
like
Gordon, I do
beds.
like your beef Wellington though. That shit is fire.
In the patient areas, they had beds with headphone jack. They could listen to the radio. There was a theater where you could watch movies and like local plays would come through. And
This does
perform
not
for
sound
them.
bad at all.
There was a library. There was a workshop for those who could work. There was a workshop where people could weave, toy make, wood carve, basket making, copper hammering, and other things. And everything they made went back into Waverly. Like, it was used in the facility somehow, which I think is kind of cool. It's self-sufficient.
This does not sound like a bad place.
You just have to have tuberculosis to get in. But other than that, it's a resort.
Hey.
Yeah.
You risk
For the children-
You risk a lung, but you get a house. You risk a lung, but you get a meal. Hey.
For the children, there was 4.5 hours of school every day, and there was like outdoors seesaw and gymnasium and shit for the kids to play in. And of course, there was the morgue, and my favorite part of the whole building, the body chute.
The death chute. They
The
call
death
it
chute.
the death
So when
chute.
someone just dropped, they just picked them up and just tossed them down the chute.
No, it wasn't like a laundry chute. It was like, watch out below!
There goes Fred.
Do you want to
Hey,
take it?
you can't say just leave something like that. That's mad suspense. I would think that.
No,
That's
no,
exactly what
we're-
I would
We're
think.
going to get to it, but I'm like, so this was Waverly Hills. So this was supposed to be a tuberculosis hospital where you get sick, and it was on a different level of just like it was a different kind of facility for the time. You're talking 1920 something, where you have people just working their asses off, fight for science, for this medical discoveries, for this contagious disease, and it didn't go well. Does anyone have any questions so far?
No, but I mean, this is par for the course for something like that, because what you have here in the early 20s and the early 30s, there's not a lot of regulation, so something like this is going to happen. The city, the state, they're going to throw money at this just to make sure these people are locked away, give them keep them comfortable and quiet, but there's no regulations. Whereas as today, you can't walk 10 feet without having some kind of regulation on you.
That's right.
Some good, some bad. But, back then you could have done whatever you want. That's why these experiments and stuff were done on a mass scale, because there was nobody there to say no.
Yeah,
So
you're not
that's
wrong.
That's crazy.
Now I will. Before we take our first break, I will hit the death chute for you.
Motherfucker's doing my job.
What?
Nothing.
Before we hit the break, I'll tell you a little bit about the death chute. because the death rate was so high, and I'm going to touch that after the break.
Nice.
Because the death rate was so high, they did not want to just bring people out to the hearse every on the hour, because if you're up in the window watching, you're going to get pretty bummed out. So they built this chute that connects the main building down to the road. It was over 500 feet. And they basically just put bodies on gurneys and walked through this underground tunnel to get down to the road to release the body to the family or to the local crematorium or funeral parlor, wherever. But that's where they that's where they got rid of people. That way nobody saw the people leaving. So they basically just told the parents, the patients, hey, where's Jeff? Oh, Jeff got better last night. It's a fucking miracle. We let him go this morning. Meanwhile, Jeff is 6 feet under. You know what I mean?
Did they have a cemetery on the property?
Huh?
Did they have a cemetery anywhere on the property?
I didn't read anything about a cemetery
I'm not coming
on
up
the
with
property.
much.
That sounds like an overpopulated cemetery.
Yeah, I don't think there was.
You know what they'll probably do is they probably went,
You know
went
what
to
that
the
you know
death
what
chute
that
and they
building
burned them.
reminds me of?
No, they didn't burn
the
them.
Coliseum off of One Piece, bro. That's exactly what that kind of.
I
reminds
don't
me
know
of.
what
I'm
that
the
is.
only one who probably understands what he's
Yeah,
talking about.
no, I don't know what One
Well,
Piece
whoever
is.
out there is listening.
But you want to know what else was cool about the death chute?
Cool.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Do tell.
It was also where they brought everything, like the deliveries. They did have some deliveries that they couldn't grow or produce at at Waverly Hills. So when they had deliveries, they would use that to get everything into the sanatorium. And also during World War II, the tunnel was used as an air raid shelter for patients and staff of the facility. So in case someone ever tried to attack Kentucky and do like $100,000 worth of improvements, they had a place to hide.
Okay.
Had they attacked Kentucky, I don't know, maybe the gene pool would have been stirred up and
Okay,
we wouldn't have
okay.
Kentucky.
All right,
Okay.
cut the mic.
Jesus Christ, you fucking weird. We're going to take a short little break. We'll be right back with more of Anthony's episode.
Fuck you, I'm the only one who came prepared.
We'll be right back. Hello, this is JC3 speaking. If you want to know more about Is This Real podcast and our parent company Green Hour Media, then visit greenhourmedia.org. You can find and follow all of our social media pages through our website. If you love our content, then you can support us by subscribing to our YouTube channel and our Patreon page. Remember, that is greenhourmedia.org. And we're back with ADHD in a podcast.
That's us.
Yeah.
So, Anthony, close out your little segment, and then we're going to get to the reason why we're making this a Halloween episode.
Well, all good things must come to an end when it comes to tuberculosis. And
You die.
I don't even know what that means. But
Yeah, you die.
in 1943, they invented like a good vaccine that actually took
Penicillin.
care of. No, it was something called streptomycin. It's an antibiotic that fucking wiped the floor with tuberculosis. So it was a groundbreaking pill, and it just like dropped off. Like tuberculosis didn't stand a fucking chance. So when you got no patients in the sanatorium, it's hard to pay the bills. So they looked at like, we don't really need this anymore. So it closed down in it closed down. And then 1961, Waverly Hills, that's when it did. 1961, it closed down. A year later, it was reopened as the Woodhaven Geriatric Center, a nursing home that treats aging and mentally handicapped patients. So when grandma is off her wagon, off she goes to Woodhaven. But it was understaffed. It led to numerous cases of patient neglect. And in 1982, they closed that shit down. A year later, it was purchased again for $3 million, and they wanted to convert Waverly Hills into a minimum security prison. And then that didn't work out because by then the neighborhood was like, we don't want a prisoner. NIMBY, not in my backyard. We don't want a prison here.
NIMBY.
So they said, all right, fine. And then they're like, all right, well, let's take Waverly Hills and turn it into housing. And they were like, no, it's old as fuck. We don't want that either. So everything this guy tried to do, the guy who bought it was Clifford Todd. Everything he tried to do, it was shot out the window.
He has 2 first names.
In 1996, it was bought by a guy named Robert Alberhasky. And you listen to this shit. He wanted to erect the world's tallest statue of Jesus. He looked at the statue of Christ the Redeemer down in Rio de Janeiro, the one where Jesus' arms are out like this, like he's about to do a triple gainer.
The one where he looks like he needs a hug.
Yeah, no, the one, yeah. And
The one in Brazil.
yes, and he's like, I like that statue. I want to build one just like it in Kentucky. And the local, everyone like shit their pants, like that's a great idea, but they didn't get enough funding to do that, so that didn't happen.
How do people not hate us?
Well, how?
And then hold on one second. And then it was canceled in '97, and then it just sat there as crap until it was bought by the people who still own it now, who have trying to restore it, and they also do ghost tours, because after the fucking place started to fall in disrepair, ghost sightings went up.
And the reason that is because it's not confirmed, but there is a roundabout number for about 50,000 people have
Yes.
died on the property.
50,000 dead motherfuckers. Children, women, men, didn't matter. They went belly up at Waverly Hills. That's a lot of dead people.
Thank you. Yes.
That is a lot of dead people.
Not enough.
That is.
That is almost
What
like...
do you mean that's not enough, Joshua?
I mean, you want it to really
I'm
be.
sorry.
Pardon me?
Wait, how? I'm sorry. Do you want it to be this high up? Like, is that what you want?
Oh.
Yeah, if you want it to be haunted and actually have some effect on it, it better be, pump them numbers up, kid. That's like rookie
Pump
numbers.
them up.
50,000?
50,000.
Those are rookie numbers, okay?
All right, Matthew McConaughey of dead people.
I'm not wrong.
No, you are
You
wrong.
are wrong.
50,000 people.
Josh is gonna be like, well, in my
I have a
defen-
question.
Well, in
I-
my defense, the Black Plague took out like almost like a third of Europe.
He's
But-
not wrong.
Okay, but it's not in one central controlled place.
This is
The Black-
Kentucky we're talking about.
I don't
and
think
in
they were
one
going-
building.
Yeah, I don't think they were trying to break a record. They were trying to save lives, if anything.
Yeah.
And if you think about it, some of the most haunted places in the world don't have a lot of fucking deaths on it.
That's why they're not really haunted.
The Eastern State Penitentiary is one of the most haunted places in the world, and I think maybe I would say about 10,000 people have died on that property.
I would
That's
have
because
to
there
do
was
some
some
research.
evil motherfuckers there.
Yeah, it's
Long time.
it's
70
about
years.
the amount of death,
It's the way people die.
the way people died, and what attracts people back or their spirit to that place.
That's a different situation. Those
I'm
are
gonna be
some
honest,
evil
like,
motherfuckers.
that luxury living of like the place, like I would. Oh yeah. What?
Well, here's the thing. You gotta remember that people...
Some
even though-
people died because of those procedures.
That's true, but also you have to
Yeah.
factor in that even though, like, hey, it's a nice facility to live in, people are still fucking dying.
And sick.
And they were still sick. People were still suffering.
Yeah.
And you do have these experimental procedures, which you lost a lot of people. And unfortunately, we don't understand ghosts enough to understand why they stay. If it's true that a spirit is connected, whatever, we don't understand why some of them are never, like some people's are never heard from again after they die. And then they're like, oh, who's that? Oh, that's just Maddie. Yeah, she haunts that room. Yeah, just knock 3 times, she'll answer you. Like, we don't understand the way the paranormal world works.
I got one thing. Has anyone bothered asking them?
We've done EVP
All the
work,
time, yeah.
but I don't think anyone's ever gotten like
no
a
one's like
real answer.
asked and like no.
But even if you, but
I don't think ghosts will actually give you an answer.
hold on, but even if they give you an answer, how can you test and verify? You can't capture a ghost.
Well, they're the ones that said it.
Yeah,
No,
but there's one
need a
thing
jar.
there's one thing that a ghost does or a spirit will do that'll give you some inclination why they're around. A lot of ghosts, a lot of spirits, when they cross over, when they leave the body and they go into the spirit realm, they can either go to heaven, they go to the light. You hear that term, go
Yes,
to
yes,
the light?
yes, yes.
Well, a lot of them don't want to go to the light because they're afraid of judgment. They're afraid if they go to the light, then they're going to be judged by whatever's on the other side, and then that'll be either you're going to heaven or you're going to hell. And they'd rather stay someplace where it's familiar and they don't have to worry about being judged. But
I mean, it's
think
a
about
great
that,
way of
where
thinking
you're
about it, but there's
think
no way of
about it.
proving
You're
it.
gonna, if you're a
Ask
spirit,
them.
you're gonna be living in the same spot forever and ever, and your family and your friends are all gonna be gone. And so the good outweighs the bad. Do I want to take my chances, or do I want to stay
See,
here?
I'm fine. I've been judged my entire life, so we're good.
Yeah, well, I mean that could be one of the reasons why they hang around.
Maybe, yeah. Like that's the thing. Like, it's always like when it comes to ghosts, it's always like, well, it could be. Like you literally have to end every conversation with ghosts about ghosts. Like, yeah, well, it could be that. Like, because there's no definite way.
Right.
I remember having an argument with a friend of mine years ago, and I'm like, that's what a ghost is, and she was like, you can't capture, study, or experiment ghosts. Ghost is a placeholder until we understand what they are scientifically, if there's a way to understand them scientifically.
You
So
need a
there's
jar.
so she was like, there's no such thing as ghosts because you can't really understand them, but there's phenomenon that happens, and until we understand that phenomenon on a natural or scientific level, we just call them ghosts. But there's really no such thing. I'm like, whatever.
Speaking of ghosts, do we have any ghosts at Waverly Hills?
We have some fucking ghosts. We have Timmy.
Should we go ask them? I feel
No.
like we should take a trip and go ask them.
Well, here's the
why they
thing. Let me-
stay.
I don't want to go to Kentucky.
No one does. Let me throw this your way. There are two different kinds of haunts. Well, I mean, there's many different kinds of haunts, but there's two that we kind of classify.
He said,
You have,
Yeah.
I did.
Boogie and
It's
shit.
that fucking gum you gave me. You have a residual haunt, and you have an intelligent haunt. Dad, you want to take that?
A residual haunting would be something where it's kind of like time replaying itself over and over again. Like every day at 4 o'clock, you'll see the same ghost walk through a wall, and then you find out that where that ghost is walking through, there used to be a door, and the energy of this spirit does the same thing over and over and over, not realizing it's doing it over and over again. An intelligent haunting would be a spirit that has a mind of its own. It can use how would I say this? It could use its surroundings to appear or disappear. It can manipulate time and space, and it can manipulate all things around it. Now, again, they're all hypotheses and theory. We don't know, but you got to, with all the evidence that they come up with, videos and video footage and stuff like that, EVPs. I'm going to tend to believe that there are spirits in this world.
I think so, too.
And there are also two different types of spirits. You have the human spirit, and then the one that nobody wants to talk about, the inhumane spirit, which never walked the planet. It was never a human, and it tends to be something demonic, which I don't even think we want to get into
Dinosaur
on this
ghosts.
show.
Well, we're going to get into it on this show, on this
Well,
Dinosaur
episode.
ghosts. Dinosaurs
yeah,
walk
okay.
the planet, though.
Yeah, well,
But yeah, so but Dad's right.
You
Like,
said inhuman.
you have some spirits that are like, it just happens. Like, and then you have other ones that are like, they know they're dead, or they understand that, like, they can manipulate. One of the ideas is like, and a spirit has to draw energy from something in order to manifest itself. So there are times where ghost hunters are like, hey, the batteries in the flashlight just died, but we just charged this. Like, why is this happening? And it's because it's trying to siphon off any sort of electromagnetic energy or whatever to manifest itself to be seen or heard.
you're right. That also, in a little known fact is that through the years before we had cinema, ghosts would appear during a lightning storm because they're actually drawing energy from the lightning. They're
Yeah.
drawing energy from the heaviness of it. And of course, come Hollywood and all the stories where there's ghosts appear, there's going to be lightning and thunder. They do that for dramatic effect, but there is a basis in reality from that. So
Yeah.
that's
Well,
that's.
And when it
it's
comes
crazy.
to Waverly Hills, there is no shortage on ghosts. We have Timmy. We have room 502 with two.
Wait. His name is actually just Timmy?
Well, I will get to that. We
Okay.
have Timmy. We have the two nurses of room 502, and we have the Creeper. So the Creeper is the heaviest of them. Do you want to take that first?
Let's
Start with
let that
Timmy.
Let's start with room 502.
502.
Why can't we start with Timmy?
You can start with Timmy.
All right. So Timmy supposedly was a 6-year-old boy who passed away at the hospital.
Oh, poor Timmy.
We don't know. See, here's the thing. They weren't very good with keeping records. So the assumption is that there was a little boy who died at the hospital. His nickname is Timmy. And people bring balls to... They bring balls to Waverly Hills. And the idea is if you roll this ball down the corridor, some people say that the ball rolls back to you. Or they'll set the ball down, they'll walk away, and then they come back and notice the ball has been moved to a different spot, right? I mean, what the law of motion is? When you put something in motion, it stays in motion. But if you put something down, it's not moving. A force has to act upon it in order to make it move. So if you settle the ball down and there's nothing moving around it, other than maybe wind, but if you do it somewhere where there's less chance of wind, and now it's moving around, well, what's doing that? The idea is that Timmy died and he didn't want to cross over into the afterlife because he had his whole life ahead of him. So people bring him toys like balls. But people debunk it saying the floor is uneven or there's a wind or something to that effect.
Well, there are no windows in the building.
Right, there are none. Well, I don't know if
Poor
they
little
restored
Timmy
them or
just
not.
wanted a friend.
Yeah, little Timmy just wants a friend.
Well, we did the same when we ghost hunted next door. We did the same test with the little girl that passed away there.
Right.
Ghost hunted where?
Next door,
Next
my
door,
grandmother's
my
house.
grandma.
Yep.
Yeah, and we did catch the little girl's voice. I mean, I'll put that up on the
Well,
YouTube.
Yep, we'll talk about that. Let's make that the last thing we do.
There
for
are on Mysterious Universe. There's some pictures of
Okay. Let's see, I
what
got
they
that.
thought, what they think is Timmy
yeah.
inside the Waverly
The ghost
Hills.
hunters, when they did Waverly Hills, actually caught 2 pieces of thermal imaging of legs, and they
Yeah, it was a half body.
it was a half a body. and
That terrified the fuck out of me.
again,
'Cause
the
I
idea-
watched that live.
the idea is like your spirit's trying to draw energy. Heat is the source of energy, and when you use thermal vision, you can see where that heat is.
And it's different from when you're looking at a thermal image and you're looking at someone.
How would you get heat image from something that's dead?
It's drawing the
Drawing
energy to
energy.
itself
So you could, but
Oh, yeah,
see
in
the
form-
thing with the
form of-
thermal,
in the form of heat,
in the
right.
form
the
of
thing
heat.
with the thermal, you could see hot and cold.
Yes.
There are differences. I have seen where you've seen a ghost that has a hot thermal image and then a ghost that has a cold thermal image. When you see an apparition or when you see an image in the thermal and it's cold, you know that can't be a human because if you see our body in a thermal image, we radiate heat.
But I got to counterpoint that because there's another theory that says if the ghost doesn't know how to draw as much heat or as much energy, then it's not so much that it's a cold demonic presence of an outline. It's more like it's a weaker outline.
No, I'm not saying it's demonic or anything like that. I'm just
No, I
saying
know.
you just know it's not an actual physical touch.
Oh, right. That's
You know
what you're
what I mean?
saying. I understand now. Yeah,
That's what I was saying.
yeah. When
so
you can't touch it, and it's not like a real
yeah,
thing.
you can't really do this. So like if you
This
can't
man is gonna hurt both of y'all so much.
if you can physically see the difference, especially with half bodies, because
Yeah.
when the Ghost Hunters and this is on whatever network I forgot
Sci-Fi.
Sci-Fi when they were on doing that, they did that a live episode,
Yes, they
a
did.
live Halloween episode, and I remember watching it fully through. That you're actually sitting there watching them investigate live.
Yeah.
And that's a terrifying thing because at that point, I mean, they did have some music in the background, but you're seeing something that as they're seeing it, and they're like, "Holy shit! Look, something just went by." And
Yep.
you're like, "Holy shit! Something did just go
And
by."
for the sake of transparency, they usually recorded with a thermal cam and a regular cam at the same time. So when
Yeah.
you're looking at something, you're seeing the image, both thermal, and regular light.
Yeah, it's
much
basically
like that.
kind of like a side by side,
Yeah.
which I enjoyed what they did. They had like a grip, which you saw the thermal camera here, and right next to it was a regular camera.
Yeah. So it's catching the same shit. It's just.
But when I saw that half body of Timmy, and they did place the ball down,
Yep.
and the ball, I don't think the ball ever moved. I think what it was, I think that the ball kind of like they saw it like jiggle, but it
Yeah.
never rolled.
The ball just jiggled. Sorry. So that's Timmy, little boy, likes to play with balls, and he's a ghost. There's also I couldn't find so much of this, but apparently there's a spirit of a woman who has her wrists bloody, and she's walking around or floating around screaming for help. And if someone comes up to her, be like, "I will help you," she screams and runs away and disappears. It's been 1 or 2 people who have said that.
I also have one right here. It says another ghost is often sighted on the location as a woman who once worked as a nurse back in the Waverly Hills, was operating as the tuberculosis factory. The story goes that the nurse hanged herself
Yep.
in the building, and now she is believed to be roaming the hallways.
That would be the Room 502 ghost. There's 2 nurses that have committed suicide, allegedly, at Waverly Hills. One of them is this one. She was a unwed, pregnant woman who hung herself. The problem with that is there was no fixtures in that room to hang yourself with. The pipes were concealed behind the walls, and there was a light fixture, but it was like a ceiling fan. It didn't have the strength to support a body. So, and again, Waverly Hills did not keep very good records.
Well, when there's a will.
Well, yeah, but you can't hang yourself from nothing. So there is this story. They sweetened it up too. They said that she was sleeping with the owner, and that that was his kid, and he denied it. And then she also caught tuberculosis. So there's a lot of like rumor mill shit going on. The other woman that killed herself, the other nurse, jumped from the top floor. She just did a swanny off the top. We don't know why.
She worked in 502.
Why?
Huh?
Why?
She worked in 502.
She worked in 502, right? She did it.
And the source of this stuff with 502, it became a lot of talk because what it was told by a person that was acting as a nurse, and she was going around saying all this stuff that she knew about it, and she knew, the people. But the problem with that is when it happened in 1928 and 32, this person was only 6 years old.
You're talking now. It wasn't a woman. It's a guy named John Thornberry.
Okay, but
Yeah.
this person was only 6, 7 years old.
Yeah,
how would they know?
Right. He was a former staff member of Waverly,
Right.
but he got there way after the fact, and he got it's rumor mill. He heard it from someone else, and now we can't talk to him because he went belly up in 06.
Yeah. Now there's a ghost there of a woman named Mary Lee. I don't know if you've seen that.
I heard about it.
Okay,
Yeah.
if you go on mysteriousSuniverse.com,
Yeah.
it has a little thing about her, but it also has a picture of her as a ghost.
Ooh.
It's pretty cool. They got her framed out, her picture, and then right next to it, it's like this woman standing in the door jamb, just looking.
Is that the one with her arm up?
No,
Okay.
she's just standing here.
See
It's creepy, but it does look like a ghost. And again, it's a black and white photo.
I mean, when it comes to this shit, now that Waverly Hills is open for tours and you can go and tour the facility, they encourage you to take photos while you're doing it. So what I've found is if you go to Reddit and you just type in Waverly Hills, you're going to get so many users be like, yo, I was there, I took this picture, and I saw a picture today on Reddit that made me shit my socks.
Yeah.
It was not good.
Damn, your entire socks?
Yeah, I had nothing to wipe with. This person said I was in Waverly, I was in room 502. Again, 502 comes up and she's taking pictures, but she saw someone in the window looking at her, or a door frame.
I heard about this.
And you see the top half of the torso, a head, and her hand is up like this, resting on a door frame. And she lightened the photo up because it's taken at night. So she lightened the photo up to help see better, and you can see a face, but it's distorted. It's like it's not like it's blurred out or twisted, and it doesn't look inhuman, but it just looks like it's completely out of focus. But you definitely see a head, a face, you see features, and I looked at this for a minute. I'm like, that's really fucked.
Yeah, see, when you could come across something like that in the spirit realm, where you can have a picture of something and one part is distorted, that's when it gets dangerous.
Yeah.
Because demonic spirits are known, they can't appear by the laws of nature. They can't appear complete. You might see a whole spirit, but they have no feet.
There we go.
Or a whole spirit and they have no eyes. Or the face is all mangled up, but the body looks perfect.
I'm waiting.
I just think some ghosts aren't be able to be captured in 1080p.
Well, again, this is theory now.
Exactly. It's
So.
like we can't test this shit, so it's all based off of eyewitness evidence. But the wonderful thing I said about Reddit is it's all user based. So unless someone's just there to fuck with you, which there's plenty of trolls, I tend to believe someone like, yo, I got a ghostesses, check this shit out. And I looked at this picture and I was like, that's pretty fucked. It really is. But Dad, you have the creeper.
The creeper, no one seems to know what this thing is. This thing has been linked to being a demonic spirit. It has linked to being a very angry spirit, a human spirit that was there. I'm trying to come up with a picture of it, and there are some that they claim are pictures, but I don't know. Anyway, this thing is known to walk the halls, throw things, cast fire at certain times. It's seen little sparks of fire here and there. They're not sure where the fire is coming from. So you got to be on guard when you're in the sanatorium, whatever the hell it's called. And nobody seems to be able to call this thing out. In other words, you want to call it, you want to talk to it, it doesn't show up. It shows up when it wants to. And they're really not sure what this thing could be. But some things, like when somebody gets something thrown at them, like you're talking about that ball that you roll the ball to Timmy. Well, this thing would throw rocks at you. You'd be in a hallway.
Fuck your ball.
You'd be in a hallway, a long hallway, and it would be dark on one end, and then a rock was flying at you. Well, somebody's got to be down there doing that. Is it this thing? Is it really throwing balls of fire around the building? What is it doing? And
What does he think he is, a freaking wizard?
no, but again, if it's demonic in nature, it's going to do that. A human spirit will never be able to do that.
Also, you have the idea, like, I don't know how fucking true this is, but like demons are attracted to places of a lot of death.
Right.
And when you're carted out 50,000 bodies over the course of 50 years, I mean,
Well, I mean, just to throw some creepiness on top of this. This is what this one website says. Apparently, it's a twisted shadow creature. It has been known to appear in the sanatorium hallways. If spotted, it has long, crudely twisted arms and legs. It is seemed to be spotted approaching some unlucky visitors in various ways. Most commonly, it is spotted crawling along the floor, while other times the creeper is on the ceiling, slowly approaching the unsuspecting. One of the associates of being in the presence of the creeper is doom. Paranormal investigators to Waverly have claimed when the creeper has been spotted, they suddenly have such an overwhelming sense of dread saturate them that the feeling of impending doom is immediately upon them, and most often than not, they have to leave the property as it takes hours to calm down.
Well,
That's demonic.
That's definitely demonic. That's the very nature of demonic, is the gloom and the doom, the feelings of gloom and dread, and the smelling of sulfur and stuff
Well,
like
they have
that.
not said anything about so. I've not
Right.
heard
Well, I
anything
mean,
about
that's all part of this. That's all. It has something to do with it. So the creeper thing could very well be demonic in nature,
Just to call
because
it the
they're very,
creeper.
like it says here, attracted to locations where many human spirits linger, and Waverly Hills certainly has no shortage there. Could the creeper be an inhuman entity feeding off the energy of the dead? That seems to be, if there was a plausible explanation, I would say that would be it. In my view.
I did manage to find that picture I was talking about, and it will be on our blog.
Okay. We're going to take another short little break real quick, and we will come back and finish this episode. We will be right back. Welcome back. Eric, Mr.
Buddy.
West,
Hey, buddy.
You know what? Let's just let him have this.
Mr. West.
Let him have it.
He deserves this one. Leave
He
him be.
deserves this one.
There's a 10-pound bag of weed here.
He was excited for this episode, but he had a hard day.
It's all right. All right, so Mr. West is off to La La Land, Shadowland, whatever you want to call it. So tonight we're gonna finish this.
Yes.
We're gonna finish this episode, and what frightens me the most is I've seen a lot. There's a lot of pictures
Oh,
and
yeah.
videos of ghostly shit
Mhm.
at this place. So when you have tons, can you call it evidence?
I think you can call anything that you take from Waverly Hills, whether it's EVPs or videos, or even to a lesser degree, like personal, like, oh, I was touched, I felt being touched even though no one was near me. It all goes into that filter of like, it's evidence. The problem is you can't test that evidence and then draw a conclusion from it.
Yeah, that's the thing. You said you wouldn't really. You can say it supports it, but
Yeah, that's,
evidence.
yeah,
Evidence isn't the right word because you kind of have to. Personal experiences are going to be definitely harder
yeah,
to
yeah.
test. And
That's why eyewitness testimony doesn't really hold up that much in court. It's like, oh, I saw him. Like, oh,
Well,
you
so
did.
my question,
And
if
then
you
you could rip that guy
let's just
apart.
put it like this, because I've seen, especially there, ghost videos, right?
Yeah.
They ask for a certain thing to be done, and that certain thing gets done. Like,
Yes.
knock 3 times. A minute later, you hear the knock, or say my name, and
Sure.
you hear in the EVP the name, completely different voice. You know, there's only 2 people there, and you hear a completely different voice.
Sure.
What do you classify that as?
I would.
Because it's a question and a response.
It is. The problem is, it's phenomenon is what it is. You have these strange phenomenons,
yeah.
but until you can quantify that phenomenon into something testable, it's not evidence.
Yeah.
You know, you can't. All right, EVPs are great, but it's that's why it's called EVPs. It's electronic voice phenomenon. You can't test it. Like, think of UFOs. UFOs obviously have to be piloted by something, but are they piloted by aliens or is it just a spacecraft? Either way, we don't know what's in
Yes.
the UFO, but we know it's a UAP, unidentified aerial phenomenon.
Blow my fucking brains out. Yes.
I know. My point is, until we get to a point where we can like capture a ghost, run tests, and draw conclusions based off of those examinations, we can't say it's official or a fact or anything.
Oh, so let me ask you a question, and I'm not going to play devil's advocate here, but I just want to ask you, like Joey said,
Go ahead.
you have an EVP,
Yeah.
and you ask a general question like, "What is your name?" And clear as a bell, the EVP, you pick up on the EVP, Fred, Herman, and then you
Yeah.
ask it another question, and it gives you another answer. That's not evidence.
It can't be evidence only because you have no way to verify
Then what is
that
it?
thing.
Then what is it?
It's
Support.
a phenomenon. It's something that's going to support evidence. If you
A
find
phenomenon is something that is unexplainable.
yes, exactly.
If you're asking a question to something and you're getting a clear response, that's not phenomena anymore.
No. What you're confusing is that's not the source of that is what is more intriguing than the response itself. It could say, you ask what your name is, it could reply, I'm the king's nuts. It doesn't matter what it says. You want to know where that voice is coming from. That's the phenomenon part. It doesn't matter what it's saying. It's the fact that something is being said, and you can't track and figure out where that's coming from. That's the question.
It's kind of like using a telephone. You can't track it.
No.
I mean,
With
you
a
can
telephone,
track
you know
telephone.
exactly
Huh?
how.
You can't track a telephone.
The
Yeah,
point
we
is,
know
it's,
how
it's a
telephones
disembodied
work.
voice. That's
Yes.
my point. So, again, I mean, you can clearly we can go on and on this all night, but when you have something intelligent that manipulates the surroundings around it, and you could have a conversation with it, you don't have to have a physical body and look at it and shake its hand to know that there's something there.
No, you're right, but
Okay.
everything that you just described defies everything that we understand about nature. We don't otherwise
Okay.
because why can't this be a thing that happens all the time? Why can't every place be haunted? Why can't we just walk into it? Like, why is it picky? Why is it sometimes I got a response but not this time?
Well, you're not. These are things that we're look, Anthony. We're talking about a lot of space stuff too in this current season.
Yeah.
A lot of it can be like, okay, you can't prove to me anything that's going on in space. Flat Earthers, same thing. You cannot prove certain things that people say are there. Like
Hold on a
they'll
second.
tell you, these guys can tell you, well, Mars is right up there. If you look and you see Mars, well, they can tell you this is 50,000 light years from there. No, it isn't. How can you prove that to me?
It
I
can't
don't
be
believe any
proven.
of how.
When someone like, we'll just take your example, the flat Earth thing. Joey's having a coronary. Fuck off.
Why? What's the matter?
We can see that's the problem with the flat Earth people. They said this Earth is flat, and I go, no, it's not. It's round. We can
Right.
prove that it's round. Why can we prove it's round? Because we've tested it and we've ran experiments to prove it. And now they can sit there and go, well, I can debunk that, and then we go, okay, good job, and then we go, see what you did there? You fucked up that calculation. Your thing's not right. It is round. We can prove it because we have tested it. We have the evidence to support it, and we can run those experiments over and over again and always get the same conclusion.
Okay, I'm going to ask you one question. If I give you a chance from, say, 7 o'clock at night to 6 o'clock the next day, alone, by yourself, to walk through the Waverly Hills, would you do it? Alone. No form of communication.
No.
Why wouldn't you?
I wouldn't, because there are things happening there that I can't explain,
Right.
and I'm afraid of things that I don't understand.
Right.
And I don't want to be fucking with things I don't understand.
See, with me.
But
yeah.
they're happening though.
They are happening, but it doesn't have to happen while I'm there. Now listen, you want to talk about doing these tours? Even at that, I'm like, listen, I'm surrounded by people. They know the property. That's one thing. When you have something like the Creeper, which has a malevolent thing to it,
Right.
I don't want to be hurt. If it didn't have the Creeper there, and it's like, oh yeah, you could take pictures. Sometimes you'll catch something. Nothing, like sometimes you
Sometime
get.
Timmy's gonna be right next to you.
I think what
Sometimes you can get touched, but there's nothing violent. You don't get scratched. At that point, I'm like, you know what? I'll take my chances. I'll have fun with this. It's an experience to experience something that's not natural and weird because we don't understand it, but we know it's happening. But when you add something in like the Creeper, if it is true, I don't want to be walking, get decked in the head with a fucking brick. You know what I mean? Like, if I'm like, we're walking down the hallway and a fireball comes at me, I'm getting the fuck out of there. That's a dangerous situation.
Okay, but then if you did do that, say you're walking through there and you got hit with a brick, and it came out of the darkness out of nowhere, is that still phenomena?
It is a phenomenon.
Or
Yeah,
that's
I'm
not
like,
you don't believe that actually
no.
happened?
I'm saying that it's existing. What I'm saying is we cannot prove it. I'm sorry, we can't run an experiment to make it do it again.
Right.
We can't keep.
Okay,
You know, if
I'll give you that.
if we.
Well, I have a question. If you turn around and said, okay, you just shot that fireball out of your ass, do it again, and the Creeper yells back, "Fuck you," what do you say then?
Or with the
until we
flashlights?
find where that comes from, and we can manage to get the same thing over and over again.
So I think what he's basically telling you is unless it's run
Someone
through
give the mic to Aunt Jess.
if it's run through any kind of science, and you have somebody literally standing there doing it, that's the proof.
Well, yeah,
Looking
I mean,
for. To me, if I'm walking in a room and the light just turns on by itself, or the door slams, or somebody pushes me,
well,
I'm leaving the
fireball
fucking
really
room.
scares
Well, I'm
me.
going to
And
leave
the
the
demon
room,
matches.
and to me, that's enough proof. I mean, maybe your tolerance of proof is a little more than mine is.
I don't think it's tolerance of proof. I just think it's
He's looking at it more in a scientific matter. That's
exactly right. Like I need to be able to sit there and go.
Here's the proof in my hands.
No, not just the proof in my hands. Like you know.
But be able to experiment on it
What?
and see
See,
if you
that's the
can get that phenomenon
exactly.
to
Like we
happen
have
again.
calculated.
You just have
If
mounting
it's
on your mind.
no, if it's random, there's no way to sit there and say yes, it can happen.
But what if it's not?
Because
random?
there's one day that maybe Dad walks through it and he literally gets everything under the sun.
Hold on, wait, hold on.
No. It could be the dad. You go through it one day, you get everything on the sun. You get the Creeper, the little boy, little girls, all that shit. And then Tony does it the next day, and he doesn't see a fucking thing.
Well, that's where the speculation comes in.
That's
At
what
that
that's what
point, yeah, I can understand that part.
That's what he means.
But again, you put a flashlight on the ground, just turn it on, and it turns on. Well, shut it off. It shuts off. You turn it on, do it again, and it does it repeatedly. Well, at that point, is that scientific enough, or do you
No,
have to physically see that
It's
thing?
not scientific enough.
No, for
It's
it
not.
to be scientific, it would have to happen on multiple occasions at different times. It's being
okay.
able to test a theory.
Okay.
If what you said can happen, obviously, then someone could report it and be like, "This is what happened to me." The problem is when people look at it scientifically, they're like, "Okay, we'll recreate that experiment."
It's like
If it happens again, then it's true.
Oh, so it's
then
got to happen
it's
on
real.
multiple occasions. Okay.
Yes.
All right,
So
gotcha.
if they do it again and they don't get the same results as the previous person, then you're gonna have people like probably me and Tony who be like, "Well, I don't fucking believe because it only happened once."
All right, let me ask you the
Okay,
same.
Hold up, wait,
Wait,
hold
wait,
up,
wait,
hold,
wait.
hold. Aunt Jess is trying to get in.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Oh,
I think she's just interested.
I'm going based on both of what they said, and I had a personal experience, and I want to throw it in there.
all right, yeah.
What?
Yeah, with my father.
Give that woman the mic.
Okay, so can you hear me?
I've
Yes.
been alive 20 years and I didn't know this?
Well, you don't have to know everything in my life, Lord Jesus.
Trust me,
Give me a
it
chance.
just
You gonna chase my aliens and now you made it go. So
Okay.
what's next?
No, no.
just go with it.
I'm
Just go
waiting for
with
the
it.
trifecta.
All right, so when I was
That'll be
6
later.
years old, my father passed away. Daddy's little girl, of course, whatever. Difficult for you to accept throughout the years, you know, losing your father, being raised just with your mother and two sisters. Since the moment my father passed away, not right away, but within weeks afterwards, I saw him every night standing in front of my door until I was 18 years old.
Wow.
Every night. And I got scared one time, and my mom said to me, "Don't be scared. He's just protecting you."
That would
She's
scare
like-
the shit out of me, though.
She was like, "Just light up a candle for him. Maybe he just needs some light." Or she's like, "It's not that he's lost or anything. He's just protecting you."
Yeah.
So, I got the chills right now. I'm sorry.
No, that's
Okay.
So with that, I understand what you were saying, but I want you to explain now, how is it possible that I can see my father there as a ghost every night until I was 18?
Well, I
when
can't-
I turned 18, I stopped seeing him.
Well, that's the thing. I can't explain that. I can't.
You
Because
can't.
we-
That's
we
also
don't
a personal
understand-
thing.
Yeah, well, not just as personal, but we
No,
don't
I mean personal, as in like she only saw him.
Yeah, yeah.
What if your two sisters saw him as well? If they didn't, so that comes from a personal perspective.
Subjective.
All
you
right,
can,
all right, I'm
yeah,
a-
subjective. You can believe it.
With him, but never
Yeah.
that they saw him.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
used to wake up and see him standing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That is your personal perspective. I'll believe you because of the way our family is. I mean, there's different experiences and different things, but at the same time, scientifically, we can't prove it.
Yeah, we
You
don't-
can sit there and say you saw him till you're 18, until you're blue in the face. I mean, I'll believe you just because of our family.
Sure.
But there will be other people like, nah, you're lying. You probably just saw a speck of light and it just reminded you
Yeah,
of
there
something.
was
Like
a shadow.
there, yeah,
or
there's
the
that.
door hit the way,
there's
the light
there-
a certain way.
Yeah, there's those type of peoples that will sit there and try to explain that
And it's
phenomenon.
understanding, and people could argue it, but it's a different story when you're seeing the whole person standing there in front of you, and not like on top, anywhere close to my bed, at the entrance of my door, because I used to sleep with my door open. Since that happened and I stopped seeing him, I close my door every night, and I make sure my doors are closed. I don't want to see no other ghost up in there.
Well,
I'm just saying, like,
that's why
my
this-
father I was okay with. I don't want to see
That's-
nobody.
By definition, like that's why this is called paranormal. Like it's defined as it's beyond the scope of normal scientific understanding.
Yeah.
Like we can't explain. Like no one can identify and quantify what the ghost world or like the spirit world rules are. We can't.
I could be a whole like buzzkill right now in a matter of seconds.
Go ahead, kill it.
Cause like in reality, everything that could just be going on is just the human mind.
Yeah, like
The human psyche is an
You can-
amazing thing.
Bill Hicks said it best that there is no such thing as death. We're just collective
Okay.
energy that goes back into the
I
universe.
agree with you. But
You
now
know?
let me ask you this, and this you experienced yourself.
Uh-huh.
Remember when we were lifting up the floor upstairs in the kitchen,
Yeah.
and I was giving you the story of my Aunt Minnie?
Yeah.
What happened?
Are you talking about the basket, or are you talking about the perfume?
I'm talking about
No,
we
the
were taking the floor up. Remember to
Yeah,
put the
yeah,
current
yeah.
floor up there?
Yeah.
We were taking up with the shovels, and I said to you guys, I said my aunt used to wear a certain floral perfume.
Yes.
And one day I came into the house downstairs and I smelt that, and I haven't smelt it. She died in 1963. That would make me 3.5 years old.
Yep.
Wow.
I could go back to human psyche and just say it's that. Human psyche is this whole conversation could be killed.
Hold on, Mr. Slide Rule. We were right with
I'm
you.
gonna go off what he's saying. I know what he's saying, but keep going.
And I was explaining to you that I came in, and then I called my mother. I said, "Mom, do you remember Aunt Minnie, the smell?"
Yeah.
She said, "Yeah." She goes, "Why?" I said, "Well, today I smelled it." She said, "Well, that's because today's Aunt Minnie's birthday." I did not know that.
Okay.
Now, for a couple years later, we're doing the kitchen. Do you remember what happened, Joe?
Yeah, we smelled the perfume.
I was telling you that story,
You were lifting up the floor.
and
then,
all of a
right?
sudden, that same perfume came right by.
Yeah. Well, two
Is
things.
that phenomena, or
well, two
is
things.
she visiting?
No, it could be. It could be. I'm not going
Could
to
be.
deny. But if you're going to look at it from a scientific, real-world point, number one, the fact that you smelled. Number one, smell is one of the closest senses tied to memory.
It is.
Like we've come to understand that like a smell can trigger a memory and vice versa. So the fact that you smelt that on her birthday, a lot of people would just chalk that up to coincidence. I mean, you have
Subconsciously.
365 days, and you happen to hit the right one. It's like when Mark Twain. He
But
died.
I didn't know it.
No, I understand that. It just happened to be that way. Mark Twain died on his birthday. They didn't plan that out. It's just the day he died.
Wait. Did you know of it? Like, you never knew about the birthday at all?
No, I didn't know her birthday. I knew her death date, but I never knew her birthday.
I
I knew her birthday was in March.
The
That's
most
all I knew.
staunch
And she
person
died in
would say,
February. But to have, and I can only explain this when I walked in the door, the front door, it hit me, and it's something I haven't experienced in, at that time, 50-some years.
Like,
you know,
I would think
yeah.
the most staunch.
It was like boom, you know,
like,
it was there, but
person.
as quick as it was there,
It was gone.
it was gone.
Yeah.
And then for me to go to my mother and say, Ma, you know, do you remember that? You know, and for her to tell me that, and it was, you know, and she goes, yeah, did it smell like lilacs? I said, well, it smelled like a floral. So, and then have the same thing happen when we're digging up the floor.
So was the floor here in this house?
Yes.
Or
Yeah.
was it in your mom's?
No, in this house, because of the dopey dogs that we had in this house, they used to destroy all the floors. So what I was doing, I was putting one floor on top of another without taking the bottom floor out. So one time I said, you know, I'm doing this right. And we removed 3 or 4 layers of the floor. I had to bring it down to the base floor that was there. Her floor that she had when she, yeah. And we were taking it up with a shovel. And I was telling them the story, and I swear to you, as soon as within 5 minutes, that smell overtook us. But then it left just as quick as it was
The
here.
only thing that I would
So-
attribute that to is the fact that smells are physical, like they're a real thing.
Right.
You can't hold them, but they do have a physical property. And who knows what smells were trapped under that floor for.
Layers of
Yeah.
floors.
Exactly. That could be the only real world thing I
You
would.
spilled her perfume and you don't even know it. And
Exactly.
it's
And
just-
then
Yeah.
it got
because
trapped
it
under the
was-
floorboard.
Since it was layered
Yeah.
over, it's been protecting that
And then the
smell.
second you unleashed it, it
Possible.
dissipates into the air.
She could really be
Or
right next to you.
exactly, like we don't understand because it's beyond the limit of scientific understanding, and until science gets there and we catch up with it, it's a big question mark. And you're gonna have people who sit there and go, no, it's all bullshit, regardless of what you present them with. You can't have the evidence there without the capability of testing that evidence. And even when you do like these like turn the flashlight on and off type of things, there's always going to be someone who's going to be like, there's a reason why that's happening, and try to disprove it, because there's no way you can prove it. That's the thing. You can sit there like, look, I did it, it's on video, and then it's like, all right, we'll go back and do it again. And like, how many times can you do it where it's successful? Like I said, the spirit world doesn't play by our rules because they don't have to.
But my question is now, because if it doesn't just happen to one person, and it happens to 10 people,
Yeah.
happens to 20 people, 40 people, you know, and it keeps growing to how many people this happens to.
Like I said,
How does that not become, this is what it is? You know what I mean?
It could be
Again,
human
you-
psyche again.
it could
going
be
back
that,
to that.
but it comes down to like, this is phenomenon that's happening.
Yes, but it also plays into the psyche because it's like, what if you tell people? What
It's
if
like-
you tell
yeah.
people
You're
that
going
this
in
is
there
what
now with
happened?
expectation.
They're going in
Expectation of finding-
thinking, oh shit, this is gonna happen, so it could just be triggered in
Yeah.
your brain.
Easy-
Don't
easiest way-
forget,
no,
don't
wait,
forget, your brain is the most powerful thing in your body.
That's
you
fine.
can literally think up scenarios, and your body can feel and react to
I
it, even though you're not
completely
actually
and utterly
doing it.
agree. That is completely fine. You can't use that when it's caught on video or audio, though.
No, you can't. But again, you're
Human
you're
psyche.
catching-
Hold on. Human psyche goes out the window when it's caught on video
Depends.
or audio.
We just.
But scientifically, you would have to catch it multiple times.
And
That's
it's
why
big.
people. That's why people will sit there and
and
deny
it's
it.
random.
It
though.
has to be multiple times. It has to be okay. Well, we did this, and it happened because we did this.
When you conduct an experiment, Joey, you have a controlled
and an uncontrolled.
and uncontrolled.
Yes.
I understand
You
that.
cannot have a controlled when it comes to ghosts, because a controlled means you're controlling it.
No, I get that. I can agree and disagree to a point, because there is a control when you get a response, and
That's not your response.
That's
though.
not a control.
Yeah.
A
That's
control,
not control.
A controlled variable is something you physically can manipulate. In an experiment, an independent variable is something you must change. For example, if you want to do a study based on a sweater and how it may affect someone, no sweater versus sweater, that's the controlled. You're controlling whether that sweater is going to be there or not. A ghost cannot be controlled. That is out of your reach.
That's
That is
why-
now the dependent variable, but the issue is the dependent variable is now everyone who is now sitting there witnessing it.
That's right. And the dependent variable.
okay, where's
cannot
my
be-
diploma?
No, that's what he's getting.
And
Yeah, that's what he's
100%
getting.
Right. And a dependent variable is not something you can extrapolate.
But
Draw a conclusion from.
I-
You can take information, but you can't say this is definite.
I completely understand all of that. But when it happens to thousands of people,
That is random, though. It's still not controlled.
I'm sorry.
Again, a perfect example is and I'm not to go off on a religious tang here, but whatever. But
Religious is
Our Lady of
different.
Fatima.
It's different, though.
10,000 people were in the field in Portugal that day. They all saw the same thing. It didn't happen 15 times. When I have 10,000 people give me the same story on the same day, this isn't a mass hallucination or a lie. It really happened.
They could have been high off of cocaine.
Oh, here we go.
I could actually.
I'm not gonna say.
What year did that happen? Let's just start there.
1913, something. Yeah.
They all, to a man, they saw 3 suns, and they were circling around each other, and then poof, it was gone. They didn't see Our Lady of Fatima at all. Only Lucy and the 2 other ones saw it. But
They
could be
saw
human psyche again.
something that
10,000
they could
people?
not-
Yes.
They saw something that they
How?
could not explain.
how?
But hold on a second. They saw something they could not explain, but that thing has also not been replicated since. And they have no.
It's a miracle, Anthony.
Hold on a second.
Miracles
aside.
and ghosts are different.
I'll put that aside. You have a bunch of people seeing the same thing. There is no sort of physical documentation. I mean, granted, it's 1913. I'm not expecting everyone to whip out camcorders, but like, you have nobody recording in any sense of the way, and they experience it and it goes away. It's the same thing with like. Listen, we just did our haunted road trip. We went there to see what would happen, and nothing did. And every one of the places. Like, we went there with an expectation maybe we'll see something, but
And we
nothing
also didn't
did.
take it very
But
seriously.
like, you
either.
look at something one who sees a UFO, like, we could all be outside tonight and be like, look, there's a fucking UFO and it flies away. We could sit there and be like, yo, this is our eyewitness account, and everyone's gonna go, that's great, you saw something weird, good for you. There's no way to fucking prove it though. Even if we record it, there's still people going, I don't really believe you. Like, and you're talking 100 and something years ago. We don't know what they saw. We don't.
I can only tell you what they said. That's all I can tell you. You know, I can only tell you what 10,000 people.
No, I know
accounted
that,
for,
but you're
you
also
know what I mean?
tying the fact that this is a religious event, and that's when you have that faith thing happening.
If I see 3 suns circling each other,
I don't know what that is.
Houston, we have a problem.
I agree with you,
know.
but like, listen,
Sorry to
there's
tell
one
you.
like
Nothing to do with faith.
I've been debating these fucking flat Earth morons on TikTok for the last month
I'll
and
give
a
it
half.
that best sister face. Mm-hmm.
But here's the
that
thing,
ain't
though.
for me.
I have
way.
not. I have not. I made a rule for myself. When someone starts bringing up something like the firmament, which we're gonna rip apart in a couple of weeks anyway.
Yes.
When someone starts bringing that shit up and they're saying, "Look, it's in the Bible," I immediately sit there and go, "Okay, listen, I can't debate you, because you're presenting the Bible." And I'm not saying the Bible isn't a foundation of
Oh,
truth
this is
for
gonna
you.
be one fun
Wait, no,
episode.
wait, let me finish. I'm saying, like, the Bible's not a foundation of truth for you. Good for you. But, like, I can't denounce your faith. I can't prove your faith. If you believe it based on your faith, I'm not going to argue with you, because that's something that's rooted within you. But if you want to have an intelligent conversation, or like you want to discuss it and be like, this is proof of natural things in the world, then that's a different story. But like, if you're gonna sit there and go, this is like the proof, I'm not like, listen, I can't fight you on that. You're not gonna disprove me or whatever. We're just not gonna have this conversation.
All right, so-
but when you're not backing up and you say the world's flat and there's a fucking firmament, and you're not using the Bible, I'm gonna shit on you and rip you apart. That's just the way it is. Do you want to end this? Because I got 2 things about Waverly Hill to talk about. Real quick.
Well, obviously,
We're
if
still
you have 2
on
more
that.
things, so I can't end it.
All right. Just real quick, Waverly Hills
Fucking
is.
jack off.
It's been in pop culture forever. I mean, like it's been like Ghost Hunters we mentioned, Scariest Places on Earth, Celebrity Paranormal, whatever. It's been featured on YouTube.
I was gonna
It's
say
a
I don't
big
want to
thing.
be, I don't want to be that guy. But what about that Disney show like Wizards? of Waverly
Yeah, I
Place?
don't
think
was
that has
based in
anything
New York.
correlated
I
with
don't think
it.
that has anything to do with it.
That's why I didn't want to be
the
that
Wizards
guy.
of Waverly Place.
It's the only thing I thought.
I
of.
think it's
I'm
just
sorry.
a word that
The
has
only
in
thing that was
common.
haunting that show was Selena Gomez.
So if you want to go and do this paranormal thing and go to Kentucky, I don't know why you would, but in 2001, Tina and Charlie Mattingly purchased it for $230,000, which is a steal.
They're
Since
making
then,
bank off of it.
yeah, they removed espresso. Most of the broken windows have been replaced. In 2014, Louisville Metro Council approved a zoning request to convert the building into a hotel, complete with a restaurant and a convention center.
Fuck that.
Ooh.
As of October of 21, none of the plans have
Suspension of a ghost.
As of October of 21,
With
the
the
plans
creeper?
have not materialized, although renovation work has been done for the first few floors. Today, you can tour Waverly Hill Sanatorium. 2.5-hour historical tour is $30. A 2-hour
That's not bad.
A 2-hour
Considering
guided.
the one down in Philadelphia one's 115.
Hold on,
Yeah.
listen to this. A 2-hour guided paranormal tour, which I'm assuming happens at night, is $25.
Whoa.
And a 6-hour public investigation tour is $1,000.
Oh, okay.
Whoa.
Wait, that's $1,000 per person?
It just says a 6-hour public investigation.
It says public investigation, so I'm guessing like it's counted as a group because public.
Yeah, we
itself.
each kick in like $250. I mean, well, that's bad math. We each kick in like $130. We can do this. All proceeds, special events are held during Halloween time. All proceeds go to the restoration of the sanatorium. To reserve a tour, go to their website. And that's all I have on Waverly Hills. Just to like have a guided tour.
How far is Kentucky from here?
And to our left, we see little Timmy.
I don't know, like what is like it's got to be like 7 or 8 hours to get to Kentucky, maybe 10 hours.
That's
It's
not that
just
bad.
Random, but
We leave on a Friday morning?
KFCs in Kentucky taste better.
Still not worth it.
I don't
Oh,
wanna go
you're
to
a pussy.
Kentucky.
It's Kentucky.
Whoa.
I don't want to go there.
Oh, stop. Come on.
I mean, I don't want to go to Kentucky
he
either.
hates Ohio. I'm not gonna.
All right,
Fuck
I tell you
Ohio.
what.
What did Ohio do to
I'll-
you? That
I'll
is
explain.
a
I'll explain after
That'll
the show.
be after the
I
show.
tell you what. Why don't we go down to Eastern State Penitentiary?
That is 11
As a
hours
group-
from here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Eastern
And
State?
do a ghost hunt.
Okay.
Well, you got one. Yeah, I mean,
I'm fine
I
with
just
that.
said, I just put Kentucky.
I put Louisville, Kentucky. Is
So if we
yeah.
So
I got
if we're
12
going
and a
to
half
walk-
hours.
if we're going to walk, it takes us 236 hours.
Yeah, so it's 15 hours from here. You know, give or take.
That's not bad. I mean, take a half a week.
Yeah, but then you gotta. You got.
Yeah, but you're going to Kentucky
Even
to
Philadelphia, an hour and a half. I mean,
get
Yeah, but
Evidence.
Hold on a second though. You have to travel through West Virginia.
okay.
You really want to
What's
travel
wrong
through
with
West
West
Virginia?
Virginia?
You make the wrong turn in West Virginia, you wind up on the menu. All right? Those Appalachian people
You know what?
fuck each other.
We're gonna
like,
we're gonna have everyone out of the country love us. Apparently, Anthony has a problem with every state except for New Jersey.
No, I got a problem with New Jersey too because people who think they're from Central Jersey are wrong. Central Jersey doesn't exist.
Jesus Christ.
Okay, end the
Yeah,
episode.
we're gonna-
North Jersey and South Jersey should be two different states.
I agree. Like, who the
No.
fuck lives in Lawrence Township?
Okay.
Okay,
We're gonna
But
Stop.
Alabama?
we're gonna stop this episode.
we're gonna
here
end.
please,
Enough.
please.
after
We're-
shitting on half the country.
You know what?
Our own country's gotta hate
I
us.
like South Dakota. That's not bad.
Never been.
Anywho,
North
And
Carolina's
Jesus Christ.
now
We're gonna end this episode here. Let's just put it like this: do you think Waverly Hill Sanatorium is haunted?
From all reports that I see and I hear, I'm going to say yes, I do. I'm going to say, but that's not a strong yes because again, citing what Anthony said, I haven't been there. I haven't experienced. I'm only listening and hearing what I'm seeing. I don't see video. I don't see anything.
Oh, there's a lot of video.
Well, I haven't seen it, to be honest with you. But yeah, I do believe there's some paranormal there. I'll use that word.
Mr. West,
see though.
see the
I'm with Dad, and like I haven't seen it myself, so I can't really decide.
Aunt Jess.
I'm gonna.
Aunt Jess.
Oh, good point.
So I agree. I think it's something that you have to experiment for yourself to be able to say if it is or isn't. You can't go based on he say, she said, because everybody's going with the mentality, oh, I'm going in there to find something. Yous went the other day to try to find something, and y'all didn't find nothing. Exactly. So
We also
if
didn't
we
take it
go
very
in there,
seriously.
it doesn't mean we're gonna find anything or run into anything or be tortured by anything. It's just the point that if there's a chance of us seeing something, there isn't. So
If we're gonna be
I
tortured,
think
that's
it's
an
gonna
extra
be
charge.
it's gonna be officially. It has to be a life experience you go through yourself with that.
All right, Anthony.
Yeah, I think something's happening. I do think it's haunted. I think something's happening there. What's it haunted by? I don't know. Is it ghosts? Is it spirits? Is it demons? I don't know. I believe phenomena is happening. Too many people have said things and experienced things, and I want to experience it too. But I do believe that something is happening there that's paranormal.
Corey Feldman.
Giggity. I don't know. I'm gonna say no because I didn't even know about this fucking episode. I'll be honest.
Even though it's been on the website for months.
No, it hasn't. Shut up.
Yes, it has.
Anyway,
Yes, it has.
I'm just gonna say no, and those are rookie numbers. I don't think it's enough.
50,000 dead,
Okay.
60,000 dead people's not enough for you.
Anywho,
No.
I do believe full. I don't care from the amount of evidence I saw, from video, audio, from the live episode that I saw with Ghost. This place is haunted. I don't care what anybody tells me. Anyway, next week, what are we doing? We are talking about the 2016 clown sightings. Who's ready
Those
for that?
were weird. What?
I don't even want to be a part of that episode.
Is that the one where they're having stuff like people are coming up on the porches and ringing doorbells
Yes.
and shit
Yeah.
like that?
Yeah.
That's a creepy
We're
shit.
gonna show a video for those too.
That's creepy shit.
Oh, we have videos for those?
Yes.
I'm
Okay.
surprised. Like, no, we'll just talk about it next week. I'm not even
Those
gonna
are
start.
creepy.
Yeah,
So next
same
week
here.
we talk about the 2016 clowns, and then we end our Halloween episodes with our Halloween haunted road trip and our live spectacular, where we are going to be raffling off some prizes here.
And there's going to
people.
be a YouTube video about that haunted road trip as well.
Yes.
So come the
Haunted
end of the
New
month,
Jersey road trip.
It's a bukkake of Green Arrow Media, people. Ow!
So, as you can see at the bottom, you have
You deserved it.
the Buy Me a Coffee link. Go follow that. Go donate to us. And what we please go to our YouTube page, Green Arrow Media, where you get to see all of our videos up there, and go to our website, greenarrowmedia.org.
And don't forget to follow us on TikTok.
Yes, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and I believe we're actually going to be getting a Reddit pretty soon.
Yes, I'm working on.
That is
Is this real PC? And same thing with
This is actually one of the flat earthers that commonly
Bring
harass
it
us.
on, you motherfuckers.
Anywho,
Just a couple more
Okay.
episodes.
yes.
'Kay.
So we are going to be going back into our
I'm gonna arrest
space and ocean season of season 7, but we have 2 more episodes left for our Halloween episode. So everyone, say goodnight.
Good night,
Adios,
everybody.
motherfuckers.
Night, everyone.
Remember, everybody, question everything. We'll catch you guys next week. Thank you very much.
Konnichiwa, bitches. It's Ryu West speaking. If you want to find out more about the Is This Real podcast, follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/isthisrealpc, or on Twitter at isthisrealpc, or on Instagram at isthisrealpodcast, all one word.